Okay, so I found a man named Keith's Universe, has a YouTube channel, and he was telling us why he's a feminist. And I believe this man is coming from a good place. He wants to help, solve some of these problems, get a good heart. I don't have enough time, Keith, to go through the entire video, but I'm going to hit the sexual assault parts of your video because I believe you might be a little bit mistaken on the statistics. I don't want to turn this into my statistics are bigger than yours, but I think maybe some of your statistics are a little bit skewed. Let's get into the video and see what we can talk about. Take it away, Keith.
Now, I simply couldn't make a video about feminism without mentioning the biggest issue affecting feminism. And no, it's not the gender wage gap, which is also very important, by the way.
No, it's not. It doesn't exist. A recent Harvard study, linked below, shows that there are basically two major factors in why there is an earnings gap between men and women. Number one, the career choices women make, and two, the hours they work. The link will be below.
But the issue that I'm talking about, which is the most important issue, is sexual assault.
I agree wholeheartedly. It is a big, big problem, Keith.
I'm not saying that this doesn't happen to men, because it does. There are two great examples of that would be Terry Crews and Anthony Rapp are two prominent examples of sexual assault done towards men.
Would you categorize what happened to Terry Crews as rape? You know the story, right, Keith? He was sexually assaulted by some creepy Hollywood type and grabbed him in the junk, right? And he also didn't report it. Isn't that interesting? Now, in the United States, there are 100,000 rapes reported to the FBI per year. But the feminists tell us 90% of sexual assaults are not reported. That would mean 1 million sexual assaults per year. What do you think of, Keith, when someone says to you, I have been sexually assaulted? What do you think of automatically? It's almost Pavlovian at this point. Naturally, you think she was raped. However, sexual assault is very well defined in the law in the United States. Basically, anything that isn't forced penetration is sexual assault. And the definition has been widened quite a bit. So pretty much anything can be considered sexual assault. However, the feminists have programmed you and many millions of people to believe that when someone says they were sexually assaulted, that they were raped. Keith, do you believe Terry Crews was raped? Simple question.
But statistically speaking, most of the victims do tend to be women. Back in 2016, the World Health Organization reported that 1 in 3 women will experience a sexual assault in their lifetime.
So we're at 1 million sexual assaults in the United States per year, using the actual reported rapes to law enforcement and the 90% that aren't reported. That is a 0.6% chance that a woman in the United States will be sexually assaulted. 0.6, Keith. It's not 1 in 30, it's not 1 in 20, it's not 1 in 3. It is less than 1% of women in the United States will be sexually assaulted. I didn't say raped, sexually assaulted. Do you understand the difference?
While to make a comparison, the 1 in 6 project reported that only 1 in 6 men will experience a sexual assault in their lifetime.
Disagree wholeheartedly with your characterization of only 16% of men being sexually assaulted, as if it's nothing. What do you...
Now, that is not to diminish the men who do experience a sexual assault.
Oh, I think it is. I think it is.
But these statistics do indicate that women are more likely to be victims.
Men are more likely to be victims of murder, or aggravated assault, or robbery. Anyone?
We should always take such claims of sexual assault very seriously and with compassion. False accusations do happen, and we should always wait until the evidence is in before jumping to conclusions.
Let's talk about false accusations for just a second, Keith. The FBI claims 10% of accusations are false of rape, right? The Department of Justice has an estimate of 43%. Some studies put it at 45 or 50%. And if you believe the feminists when they say 90% of men accused of rape are not convicted, you might even stretch it out to 90%. Not false, but not provable. Okay. So let's just say it's a 10% number. And if we go with the 1 million sexual assaults per year in the United States, 90% of those aren't reported. Let's go with that number. If we go with the 10% number from the FBI, that would mean the number of false accusations, men accused, is the same number as the actual number of rapes reported to the FBI. That's not insignificant, Keith.
But at the same time, we shouldn't automatically discredit any such claims.
Yeah, see, this is where you're not even a feminist, because feminists to this day, with the Brett Kavanaugh situation, I'm sure you followed it, he was accused of something by a woman with no evidence, no data, no witnesses. Nobody came out to back up her claim. And yet, the same feminists that we see today marching on the streets are calling Justice Brett Kavanaugh a sexual predator. Without a conviction, with no evidence, nothing. Do you understand the way feminists actually think?
Bottom line here's the golden rule of thumb. Wait until the evidence is in.
Yeah, most people agree with that, but feminists do not. Why do you think they came up with the Title IX kangaroo court preponderance of evidence on college campuses? Because no proof is required.
Sad fact of the matter is, rape culture is a very real thing.
No, I do not agree with that. 100% disagree with you. The only rape culture we have in the United States, Keith, is women who don't report their rapes to the police. Think about that.
God, I really wish it wasn't, but it is.
No, it's actually not. It's not even close. So, I think the takeaways from this, Keith, and like I said, I believe you're coming from a good place. You know, I don't think you're trying to be, mean or anything like that. I think you care. You want to solve these problems like everybody wants to solve these problems. Number one, was Terry Crews raped? And if you believe he wasn't raped, do you believe there is a large percentage of women in the 90% that don't report to police that had similar things happen to them? And it's not rape. Links below. James Maxwell, thank you for listening.